Well, today's the day. The revamped gauges are going back in the Corvette. Been looking forward to this for a long time. Let's go.
You're watching On the Mark with Mark. To start with, I have gone through each one of these light bulbs and tested them to make sure that they were all good. And surprisingly, I found 4 that were bad. So that was a good thing to do. Kind of makes me nervous because I didn't do that when I put my instruments back in over there. So might have some burned out bulbs there. So that's no good. Anyway, there are 12 bulbs total here. There's 2 bulbs for the left and right turn signal that need to get put in the right place. There's 1 bulb for the parking brake warning light, and there's another bulb for the high beam indicator. So all of those need to get put in the right place in the back of the panel, which is not too big a deal because you can see all these gray wires. Those are just regular instrument panel lights, and then there's green ones and blue ones and a pink and brown. Anyway, those are the ones that are specific, and very neatly on the back of the panel things are labeled very nice. Gray, pink and tan, gray, gray, I'm not sure what that is, dark blue, gray. This is the speedometer. This is still my original mechanical speedometer from the 73. If you're just catching up on my videos, this is actually a tachometer out of, I believe, a 76, which is an electronic tachometer, whereas my Corvette, the 73, originally came with a mechanical tachometer, which mine was wore out or something. It just was wildly inaccurate. So I call it an upgrade to this electronic tach. So that causes a few problems. I've got to come up with power. That's what this pink lead is. And then I've got to run this wire out to the distributor side of the coil, which I have labeled right here, which we figured out at the time that we tested this. And it does work, and it's really nice. I really like the thing. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to be mindful of the color codes. So I've kept with the brown wire here, and I've added on to it. And I'll take this will go through the firewall to the coil, and then this is straight power. And I could not find any pink wire, so I've got some pink shrink tube on it that I'm going to use to be mindful of the color code. And this will go to the fuse panel, and I've got a pretty nifty little, it's like a jumper deal that will go on with the glass fuse that will allow me to plug in there, and I'll be able to get on the proper fuse so that when I have the ignition in the accessory position, the tachometer's not energized, and when it goes to the on position, it is. Anyways, mindful of the position of the ignition switch, so it's not just, I'm not just hooking up to continuous battery power on the car. So we'll get to that in a little bit when I plug into the fuse panel. I'll show what circuit it ought to be on. So let's shrink up this this pink shrink wrap on here. All right, now it's a complete pink wire. A little bit of blue sticking out of the end, but I don't need this much length, so we're good. Simultaneously, I need to connect the speedometer cable here. This is one of the vacuum lines that goes to the headlight switch, and here is the second vacuum line, and I have these labeled. This is the one that goes to the close side, and this is the far side one. Okay, so the speedometer cable and these hoses, and then this plugs into the light switch. This stuff I don't need to be concerned about because this is for the steering column. Then I need to hook up a ground wire and these 6 light bulbs and a ground wire and these other 6 light bulbs. And then there's a couple of loops on the back of the gauges that will hold this part of the wiring harness up. This little thing right here is the key buzzer. So that doesn't sound too bad, right? Well, here we go. Okay, here's where we're gonna get power, and this goes to the distributor, to the coil. So I'm gonna run this wire first before we do anything, because I can pull on it a little bit later. Okay, there comes my brown wire, and I have plenty of it. I'll shorten this wire when the time comes.
All right, let's get these bulbs hooked up here. Or you know what, maybe I'll start with this one here. This seems to be the longest thing. This is the close tube. So, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'm hooking this up to the light switch. So that's a vacuum tube right there. That's very long. All right, I'm going to start with the ground cable. That's got a very clear place to plug in. Okay, and then these location-specific lights. This is pink and brown. Yep, pink and tan it's called. Okay, that goes on. That's either high beam or the parking brake indicator. Here is a dark blue one. This will be a turn signal. Let's make sure that says dark blue back there. Gosh, it's hard to see. Yep, dark blue. That's the right turn indicator bulb. And all the rest that are left are gray, so they're just general instrument illumination. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So that takes care of the tachometer side as far as bulbs go. Now I'm going to work on the speedometer. The speedometer cable still needs to get hooked up. It's up here. But once I get these lights plugged in, the light for the switch for the headlights and that plugged in, then we'll be going for that. So let's start with the ones that have special places again. Alright, it says light green. Here's light green. Okay, that is either parking brake or high beam. And come on, show me. Looking for light blue. Man, it's hard to see. I'm thinking that that's it down below, just based on how the other ones went. And what do we have left? Right here. Okay. And there is a ground wire right here. Here it is. And the terminal for it is right there. Okay, boy. I don't know if this is helping you or not. Alright, the ground wire's hooked up. Okay, that takes care of the light bulbs. Now I'm going to lift it into position, and then I will have the speedometer cable and this vacuum tube and the light switch to connect. So that doesn't sound too bad. Let's get it into position here. There we go. Well, this, oh man. Yeah, that's okay. Is that right? Yeah, that's okay. This goes up here. Oh, I don't like that, but that's the way it's going to be. Now this needs to go over this thing, like that. And this one over here, around there. Okay. And then, oh my gosh. The speedometer cable, oh my gosh, it's so short. Oh, plugged in nice and neat. That was easier than I thought it would be. Okay, now the other vacuum tube, which is right here, which far side one, yep. Getting it right there. Okay, gonna get this hose routed halfway decent so it doesn't get pinched. And then on the side here, oh my gosh, this is the tightest one. These wires are for other things. The headlight, boy, that's not, what the heck, what is this caught on? Oh my gosh, that's tight. Not really. Boy, we're sure hitting something. It does not want to go back. Let's take a break. Well, push definitely came to shove on this thing. It did not want to go in. This side over here has really got something that's just not going in. Oh God, I thought it was in. It's not really still. I don't know what it's hitting back there. Something. All right, let's pull it out again. Okay. Now it doesn't want to go any direction. I'm going to unplug the light. That doesn't seem to be holding it up. I'm going to undo these hoses, these tubes here. Okay. And does that wire need to be on this side? It sure is. If I had a decent light, let me go get another light. After much fighting and pushing, boy, this side here just doesn't want to go in. There's something interfering right there. Boy, it's solid. That side moves. This side, there's something there. I don't quite get it, but it's in far enough. So I'm going to put the screws in and we'll call it good. We've got a little bit of stuff to hook up down here. Okay, that guy's in. All right, now this all mounts underneath of here, but I'm pretty sure that will be in the way of the steering column, which is coming up next. So I'm going to leave this hanging for now. But this was a bitch. Well, it looks good anyway. Again, without steering column, we can't check anything. Let's connect the distributor up, actually the coil up, and then we'll connect the power to it. Okay, so here is the distributor side of the coil. So I'm going to take this nut off right here. Being careful not to drop it. I set it right up here, and there's a washer. Let me get that washer. Okay, and now I need to add a little loop to the end of this wire. Okay, I got the wire snaked in around the back side here. It's coming up right here at the coil. I'm going to shorten it. I can find my wire snippers. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to shorten it about to there. Okay. Now we are a brown wire, and I got to strip it. Okay. And put this guy on it. There we go. Alright. Put it on the distributor side of the coil. Put that little washer back on. And the nut. Now this is exactly how we had it wired during the test. So everything should be good. Now we just need to get power to it at the fuse panel. So that's next. To get power to my tachometer, I'm going to use this little piece here. This is a fuse tap, and it slides on the end of this glass fuse. Okay, it's kind of hard to do with one hand. There we go. And then that can go into the fuse panel, and then this will give me a terminal to hook my contact onto. So I'm going to put that in the fuse panel. This is going to be connected to the gauge fuse, which is the bottom right most fuse. Let's see if we can get video of me getting that in there. Okay, now I've got that add a terminal onto the fuse. I just need to make a connector on the end of our wire that goes to the tachometer. There we go. Okay, now we'll plug that into the fuse panel. There we go. The next thing we need to do is we need to put a cap on the end of that distributor where the original cable came out of. And if you recall from my previous video, this new sending unit actually was interfering with that very spot. So I'm going to add an elbow in there. So that's what this is right here. Hopefully that'll... No such luck. We need to make a cap for the distributor. This is the finger tight nut that goes on the distributor that had the cable coming through it. And I've asked all around to see if they make some kind of a cover for that, and I haven't been able to find one. So I've got another idea here. We're gonna take my best friend, the JB Weld, and gonna use this little plug out of an electric box and That looks like it'll cover that pretty neat. I think I'll trim that up a little bit. We'll clean this off good, and we'll get her gooped up good, and then that'll make a decent cap. I might even paint it. Okay, I got it in one spot there, kind of in the threads. There, we're good. Alright, center it up again. I'm going to goop a little more around the sides, and then I'll sand it nice and smooth tomorrow. Okay. That will do. Alright, let's look at it tomorrow. Okay, now it's dry. I'm going to sand this a little bit, round the corners off, and flatten out the top. Looks like it turned out pretty good. Okay, I've sanded the top flat and kind of rounded out the edges there. Looks like a nice cap now. I also went after all of the grooves on there with a wire brush. So I've got some high temperature paint here. Okay, looks like a standard cap now. Here's the cable that did go to the mechanical tachometer, and here's where this little cap was. Now I got my end on it, so I'm going to put that on the distributor here and we'll seal up that hole. Yes, that went on nice and neat there. Now that's plugged. Still have this hole down here where the sending unit for the oil pressure gauge goes, and I went all over town and I couldn't find a 45 that would fit in there, but I have one ordered and it's supposed to show up later this week, so that's something that's not going to get a video made out of. But just know that there's another piece that's going to go in here, and then that sending unit will kind of take off at an angle about like that, and it'll have plenty of clearance then. So it's a good solution, this 45-degree fitting. So that pretty well wraps this up. There they are, and that's my new electronic tachometer in there, looking just like the factory setup there. This project was, the tachometer part really wasn't too bad of a job, but getting that dash in and out of there, it is a tough one. I don't look forward to ever having to do it again, but I got mine done for now. I did replace a lot of light bulbs back there. If I was doing it again, I would have replaced every light bulb back there, just because I don't ever want to have to get in there again. So next we're going to be putting the steering column in. So that's really awesome.
That's it for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something here. Please like and subscribe. Thanks. Okay, there comes my brown wire. And I have plenty of it. I'll shorten this wire when the time comes. Oh my gosh. I got about 10 feet on here. Probably won't need that much.